It's obviously getting hot out and it's springtime riding, and so I just wanted to show you guys real quick today how to cool off your sled. This can be useful on spring days like this, but also when it's icy out, and even though you have your scratches down, the sled is still overheating. A lot of people think that if you just shut off the sled, it's going to cool off, but that's actually almost worse for the sled. And I'll just show you here, the temperature actually rises once you shut it off. So the best thing to do is to get off the trail, go over to the side, and you're going to dig the track in and kick that snow onto the back of the tunnel. These are liquid cooled sleds. They're not air cooled like the trail sleds. So the way that these cool down is the coolant runs back through the tunnel, and as you're riding, the snow kicks up onto the bottom of the tunnel and keeps the sled cool. So when you're out here on these icy days or springtime conditions, the snow isn't kicking up, so you never get that cool down effect. There's two important things that you need to be looking at while you're riding. A lot of people pay attention to how fast they're going. Honestly, who cares? You should not be paying attention to the miles per hour here on the screen. What you should be looking at is the RPMs and the engine temperature. If the conditions are icy or springtime conditions, I'm looking down, I don't know, every minute or so, just making sure that I'm not overheating. At 200 degrees on these Polaris sleds, that high temp indicator light is going to come on, but you really want to be pulling over off the trail before you get to that 200 degree mark. If my sled is getting anywhere close to about 160, 170 max, that's when I get off the trail and make sure that my sled cools down. So what you're going to do, you're going to get off to the side of the trail. You do want to pay attention to the uphill side. You always want to pull your sled towards the uphill so it's easier to get back over. The first thing you do is get the skis out of the way, and that just helps to tip it over a little bit more. Get on the uphill rail and use your foot and just throw all your body weight into it so you can get it onto its side. And you want it almost as far over so that the handlebars are almost down in the snow here. So if you're lighter weight or if you're a smaller person and you're having a hard time getting it over onto its side, again, getting the skis pointed in the opposite direction from the way you're pulling it is going to be a huge help. But you can also turn it on and pull and blip the throttle, again, covering the brake, blip that throttle at the same time you're pulling it, and that'll help to get it on its side. And that's going to help with powder turns as well. One of the mistakes I made when I first started doing this was not leaning it over far enough. Always tip it over more so that the track digs in this way and you don't shoot out straight forward. Well, outside of covering your brake, the other important thing is to make sure that you have your tether attached to you. In case the sled does take off, it's going to shut off right away and it's not going to go yeet into a tree. Once you have it over on the side, you don't want to start this thing slowly. You want to really lean it and give it a little bit of throttle. That way the track digs into the snow. Once it's dug into the snow like this a little bit, just pay attention to the track and how much snow is kicking up onto the bottom of the tunnel there. And as it stops kicking up as much snow, you slowly start to move it over, over. Now you want to stop before you actually dig yourself into a hole, and then you have to have your buddy dig you out or give you a pull on your ski. So pay attention to that. Make sure you're not digging a big enough hole so that your tunnels are all the way down on the ground. And once you do get to that point where it's getting close to the tunnel, that's when you just give it a lot of throttle and pop out of that hole. So that's it. It's a very simple maneuver. One recommendation is to come out on days like today where the snow is a little bit softer. Start getting used to this technique and practice it before you get out on the icy conditions where it's going to be a little bit harder to get it on its side and really dig that track in. Learning how to get it onto its side is also going to help you with powder turns and side hilling and all those maneuvers. If you have any other maneuvers or techniques that you like to use, please leave that in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so you see all our other future videos.
Jesus.